Hello, how are you? I'm Julia, and for this video, I got this. So I'm gonna read the Elliot point of view and the epilogue, the bonus epilogue that was just like, I think it was this, yeah, it was Steamlit, like, exclusive epilogue only for Steambox. I ordered this, I think, back in January, and it's beautiful. This is the front, that's the back, and the inside is just as beautiful. Hold on. I'm gonna rip it. It's so pretty. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the camera around. That's what, like, is that not adorable? It's like her closet, her bookshelf closet. And then that's the front, and that's Christina Lauren. And the summary. And then this is just it naked, which I love. I love this. It's so beautiful. I literally only read the first paragraph of Elliot's point of view of the reunion of them seeing each other again after 10 years. So if you did not get this, or you're planning on, or like it's going to get to you soon, there will be spoilers, so don't come at me if you watch this and I spoil something. I don't know how much could be spoiled, but I highly recommend this book. It is one of my favorites. I recommend it to everyone. I think I actually reviewed it. I did review it on my channel. But yeah, so I'm gonna read that. It's currently 2:10 a.m. It's my birthday, and I have to be up at 10 to go celebrate with my family. So I think I'm gonna vlog that too. I think that'll be fun, but I don't know yet. So yeah, I'm just gonna read this, and then I'm gonna vlog a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. Honestly, Elliot is my favorite ever. The way that he just talks, and now that we're getting his inner monologue, I love it so much. I think he's so great. Like, let me find, I'm never gonna find it. The first paragraph is fantastic. Like, he talks about how authors are saying, like, to always jump in the action, and he says, "To me, it begins when I was 13 and trespassed into the empty house next door to read in the cool stillness of a closet, and a willowy, sun-kissed, heartbroken girl shadowed the doorway. But you're here, I suppose, for the day we were reunited, 11 years after she'd vanished from my life, and she ran away from me again." And then he talks about how he thinks about her all the time, and like he kind of has stopped thinking that he'll run into her because it's unhealthy, and then he hears her before he sees her, and hearing something that he never heard from her. And it's just, oh my god, it's heartbreaking, and I love it so much. I love Elliot so much. This is gonna make me want to reread this, and I'm not really a rereader, but like, this is genuinely one of my favorite books, and I might have to do it. I don't know. So we got the breakup between him and Rachel, Elliot and Rachel, and Rachel's mean, and I don't like her. I don't think we ever, like, he talks about her for like 5 seconds, and he basically just is like, yeah, I broke up with her, but I think that's it. That's all we get of Rachel, but we get a lot of Rachel in this chapter, and it's not a lot. Like, it's a lot, but it's not a lot. Like, it's like a couple pages, and she's evil in every single one of them. And like, we know from Love in Other Words that she is like, he's not really invested in her, but we find out in this that we know that she was more invested than he was, but she was just like, she was relentless. Like, she was kind of mean, and he was right. Like, he seemed more emotionally mature for the breakup, because she says, and I understand her being hurt, but she goes, Do you remember the night you told me it had been so long since you were able to find anything new about her that you worried she died? I nod tightly, hating the feeling of the boulder hovering at the edge of the cliff. Don't do it, Rach, don't. She stood, staring down at me. I wish you'd been right. So yeah. And then she tells everyone that he broke up with her and why. And it's like, girl, you knew, and it's not okay. But like, she knew from the beginning that he was not giving this his all. And like, to sit there and be like, you're shitty because you told me from the beginning that this was not what I wanted it to be. And I just think that's crazy. And I don't like Rachel. But I do like something that I didn't like, in Love in Other Words, was the kind of glossing over the fact that Elliot was sexually assaulted. And in his point of view and like in the breakup, we talk about that. Just like a little bit. He's like, Rachel helped me see that I needed to go to therapy. He says something. So she said that I wish you'd been right thing, and he says, I don't think you mean it. Oh, I definitely mean it. You said that same night that you thought Macy and I would have liked each other. But I can tell you this, Elliot, fuck that. I will never be her friend. She has no idea what you went through. And he says, that's exactly right. I said this as gently as I could, standing now too. She has no idea what I went through, just like I have no idea what that night was like for her. There's no bad guy here, Rachel, only hurt and confusion. And I like that we are like, we're not talking about it much, but like, they are talking about it, because it really wasn't talked about at the end at all. It was kind of just like, Emma, I think her name was. Emma, wow, look at me go, remembering names. Emma sexually assaulted him, and then Macy sees it and leaves, and then it's not really I can't remember if it was brought up in their relationship until the wedding at the end, where he kind of tells her and she's like, oh my god. But then I felt like it was very glossed over. And then she also told him in the first chapter that her father died, and he's like, oh my god, I hope that he got to see her graduate from medical school and stuff, and it kind of just broke my heart all over again. So he finds out from his sister-in-law that Macy works at the same hospital that she works at, and she's like, I can't give you, like, someone else's, I can't do that, I can't give you her schedule. And he's like, please. So he's like, I'll buy you 10 books, she's like, 5 books. He says, I'll buy you 10. She says, make it 15, and they'd better be saucy. So I liked that chapter. I liked the conversation more between his brother George and his sister-in-law Liz. But yeah, I liked that chapter. It was good. So next one is Reunited, and I think it's the next morning when he sees her. I love Elliot so much. He talks about how they reunited, and he's like, we had breakfast and she was with this man, and I knew that she wasn't happy, she wasn't in love with him, and she was just picking the safe option because I was scary. And he talks about Thanksgiving, which Rachel was at Thanksgiving. I forgot about that because she's irrelevant and we don't like her. So he says, so this comes back to like the first chapter in his point of view, and it says, come to think of it, maybe I've done this all wrong. Maybe that's the moment when this story truly begins. Because at Thanksgiving, she tells him that she's left Sean, and they like can finally be together. And he's like, maybe I've done this all wrong. Maybe that's the moment when the story truly begins. I remember that moment so clearly, even now, 4 years later, as I write this, a ring on my finger and my wife in the other room putting our daughter to bed. How it felt like fire took root in my feet and clawed its way up my body. I remember reaching forward on instinct, sliding a fingertip beneath the waistband of her jeans, and using the leverage to pull her to me. I love him so much. I just love him. I don't think there's really anything else to say about Elliot. He's just wonderful. And then he talks about how they didn't know about the other, like, how he had been too drunk to consent to Emma, and how he didn't know about Duncan passing away, and how they go to therapy, and that's nice. We love therapy. I was like, did we know that? I mean, I knew that they were gonna get married and, like, have babies, but, like, was that in the end of the book? And it wasn't. I knew the wedding was the end of the book, but I was like, oh my god, I just love them, and I'm so happy they're happy. So next chapter is Bliss. So Bliss was the chapter where they're in the cabin and they sleep together for the first time, or not the first time, the second time after the wedding, and they played their word game. I love them so much. Oh my god. I love him, and his love for Macy and Macy's love for him is just amazing, and that's all. There's not much to say about that chapter. I just love, and it all has to do with Christina Lauren, like, the way that they write. I wish I could put my words together like that. Like, if someone told me that, so it's like, Macy's body beneath me was warm honey and tea. It was silk wrapping around tender skin. It was ice on a burn. It was a hit of whiskey on an empty stomach. It was everything. Like, who... I just love them so much. I don't know. I just love them. So this is the epilogue for, like, it's happily forever. I'm, like, sad this is over. I finished it. Nothing really happened in the last chapter. Macy came out from putting their baby to bed, and read what he was writing, and then they slept together, and they played their word game, and that is my favorite thing ever. I can't remember what my favorite quote from the whole book was, but it's on my Goodreads, and a favorite word, you, is, they don't say that, but I wish they would have ended that one, the epilogue, and like that, like, favorite word. But he says, I adore you, and she says, say more, and he says, cherish, revere, treasure, worship. She mumbles into a pillow, forever I answer, which is also super cute. I really enjoyed that. That was so fun to read. I love them. I wish that we could get, like, a whole other novel of them, because I would read 7,000 pages of just their love story and them being just wonderful. Like, I would read about them until they were 90. I love them so much. But that's it. This probably isn't very long, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe and all that jazz. All of my social medias will be linked down below. If you want to follow those, I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.